Bridget, do you want to try, or you just have your hands up? I can't hear you. Any other person? Okay, so let me make it simpler. So can anyone tell me the difference between public cloud and hybrid cloud? Maybe that will be easier. And then some other person should tell me the difference between infrastructure as a service, IaaS, and then PaaS, platform as a service. Anyone? I can't hear any sound from anywhere. Everyone is quiet.
I can say something about pass. I can't really talk much
Uh,
because I'm at an event. So
okay,
platform as I don't know if it's discussable. I'll just try for platform as a service. So
okay.
it provides an environment for building, testing, and deploying software applications
Okay.
without focusing on the infrastructure underneath.
Okay. That's brilliant. That's correct. Then what about who can say anything on infrastructure as a service?
For infrastructure as a service, if I remember correctly, there's not the exact definition, but I remember that there's no upfront cost. The user is responsible for purchasing, installing, and configuring the management of the software. And the cloud provider is also responsible for making sure that the underlying cloud infrastructure is actually available for the user.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. You got it. So if I go for which of them gives you control more as as the customer? Which of them gives the customer full control more of the
The
environment?
the platform as a service.
Okay.
Did you say that?
So, but no, so infrastructure as a service gives you more control than platform as a service because just like you said, you are the one that is going to install your VM, you are going to be the one to patch your server and all of that. So, in a sense, it gives you, and it is, I mean, it gives you more control, so to say, than platform as a service. All right, that's good. So at least I have one answer somewhere. So it means that somebody at least went through the class afterwards. And so we're just going to begin. And I'm hopeful that others also will pick up from there. So I'm going to be doing my class with a combination of of the PowerPoint slide, and at the same time, I'm going to be using the Microsoft Learn. So the Microsoft Learn today is what I will also be pasting on in the chat window for you at the end of the session for you to do what to also go through. I put up a challenge recently, but it has ended. I'm hoping maybe I can speak to some of the Microsoft personnel that helped the other to create this challenge. If I can do same for you also, so that you can use that to read. The challenge is intended for everybody to finish the course under 30 days and then perhaps get a voucher for exam. So that's what the challenge is for. So I'll see if we can organize another one so that I can actually share that with you. But before, ahead of time, I would also want you to go through this challenge and do it yourself. The Microsoft Learn and then just learn it yourself. So our topic today is describe Microsoft 365 apps and services. Now we already know what the cloud concept is about. We know the different types of cloud computing, deployment model that we have in Microsoft. We know what the public cloud is, the private cloud is, and also the hybrid. And then there are also some other clouds that are called community um, cloud. Then again, we went through the different types of service model last week, which talks about infrastructure as a service, um, platform as a service, and the software as a service. And then we say software as a service, one of it is the Microsoft 365 that you're doing. And that is why we're doing our focus today to describe Microsoft 365 apps and services. So what is going to be in agenda today? We're going to be looking at what is Microsoft 365. We're going to be describing the difference between Microsoft 365 and then Office 365. We're going to describe productivity solutions of Microsoft 365, describe collaboration of Microsoft 365, describe endpoint modelization, management concept, and deployment options in Microsoft 365. And we're going to describe analytics capability of Microsoft 365. So, but before we go on, a little bit of housekeeping. This session will be recorded and will be made available for future viewing. Please endeavor to mute your mic when you're not talking. Pen down your questions until the Q&A session. And then also follow us on all of the social media. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to keep up to date with all of the recordings, because apart from being posted on the channel, we also post it to YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe that so that you can get notified when new recordings are made available. Also, our code of conduct, please encourage respectful listening. Nobody is I mean, encourage respectful listening, and which is also important. And ensure that we allow everyone a chance to speak. No question is wrong. No question is foolish. No question is doesn't make sense. Everybody has the right to speak. Avoid assumption about others, mainly based on their perceived social group. We want to promote openness to point of view and increased learning. We want to prevent conflict and misunderstanding. Um, Also, we encourage you to criticize ideas, not the individual. You can objectively criticize the idea, objectively prove a point, but then it is not about the individual. So we wouldn't encourage any form of antagonizing anyone in the group. And then commit to learning, not debating. This is about sharing ideas. It is about saying that this is what we intend to do. So that is more important than for us to start debating unnecessarily. Listen respectfully and actively. And then, so with that, I'm going to start my session. So let's talk about what is Microsoft 365. Yeah, we're going to, after this course, this first module, we're going to be able to describe Office 365, Microsoft 365, and Windows 365. We're going to describe how Microsoft 365 empower workers for hybrid and flexible work. We're going to create a Microsoft 365 trial. So if you see the reason why I'm asking you, if you have a Microsoft account, this is the reason, because at the end of this module 1, we have a lot of work to do today, but we have to create a trial version of the M365 environment. And for you to be able to do that, you need the Microsoft account. So please, if you do not have an account in Microsoft, it won't take you more than a minute, but although I will show you how you can quickly sign up for one, but it won't take you more than a minute. So please ensure to get your account ready. So with that, what is Microsoft 365? So Microsoft 365 is a SaaS application that brings together the best-in-class productivity apps from Office 365. And then In addition to that, it has an advanced device management, intelligent security, and innovative online services. So what Microsoft 365 does differently from Office 365 is that Office 365 is only taking care of productivity. And when we talk about productivity, they are tools that enhance simply your productivity at work. So tools like the applications like your Word, your Excel, your PowerPoint, and all of that are actually apps that you use to improve productivity. Again, you think about things like Exchange Online, which is for your messaging, which allows you to do message, which allows you to do your messaging. So those are productivity tools. Then again, another form of productivity tools is this Microsoft Teams that we are using. Now, the Microsoft Teams is what we are using for what collaboration, for chat, for meeting. It is actually what a productivity tool. So when you talk about Office 365, Office 365 only speaks about productivity tools and productivity service, which means productivity apps I've just spoken about. But Microsoft thought about it that with the evolution with how people are working, with the changes that is making the way people work, they decided to do what? Add device management to it, intelligence security into it, and more so there are some innovative online services which we will see in a bit. So the tools for Microsoft 365 actually does what? Help drive one, productivity, helps drive collaboration and communication securely. So whether you're at home or in the office or out in the field or on the go, this is what your Microsoft 365 does. So when you talk about Microsoft 365, this is the pillar, these are the pillars of Microsoft 365. One, productivity. Secondly, collaboration. And then what's secure communication. So, like I said, we'll be going through this training side by side with the Microsoft Learn, which I'm going to bring up in a bit. And okay, I think so. Sincerely, I thought this was up already. So, please, I'm going to paste this on the chat window because I want you at the end of the day to have gone through these courses on your own. We're going to be using that to. So so when you talk about Microsoft 365, it's a cloud-based services, like I said, that brings together best-in-class productivity apps from Microsoft with advanced device and all of that. We've spoken, about device management, intelligence security, innovative online services. And then the beauty about it is that Microsoft 365 can help any type of organization. And so you have different plans for different organization. So, and then Microsoft 365 also does learn from users and collect valuable insights through what is referred to as the Microsoft Graph. And then so the Microsoft Graph is described as the gateway to data and intelligence in Microsoft 365. So what takes care of how a user um, interacts with Microsoft 365 environment, the data, and then what gives that insight is actually what Microsoft Graph. And then in this lesson, yes, we know is the Microsoft 365 fundamental. We know that you have the other classes that we will look into that as MX 900, Microsoft 365 fundamental, which we are doing right now is what is describing the apps and services. And this is what we are learning right now. It's going to describe the productivity, collaboration, and endpoint management. Then you have MS 900 M365 fundamental, which is going to do what? This particular one is describe Microsoft 365 security and compliance. That is what we are going to do upper week. And then finally on last week of April, not finally for the course, we are going to be looking at licensing and support. I'm hoping that I can combine these two classes together because I'm actually itching for you guys to get your hands dirty on time. So while that is said, let's look at the difference now between let's look at the difference between Office 365 and Microsoft 365. Remember before now, I told you that Office 365 is also what? A SaaS solution. It is cloud-based also, but it's referred to as service, a cloud-based service that includes apps. Just like I said before, your Word, your Excel, your PowerPoint, and Outlook. And then along with services such as what? Microsoft Exchange. So if today in your environment, we will look at all of these services, what each of them really does. So if you look in your environment and then you're using email services, this Microsoft Exchange is the service that is actually responsible for it. The back end is Microsoft Exchange, which is really allowing you to use that service. Outlook is just like a client that you are using to consume the service. So when people talk about email, the first thing that comes to their mind is Outlook. The way you say, oh, Outlook, instead of them to say email is not working, they'll say Outlook is not working. Outlook is just like a client, an application. And if you see the word here, so I want you guys to pay attention very well. When you talk about apps, you are referring to Word, to Excel, to PowerPoint, Outlook. All of those are what? Applications. They are applications, they are clients that you use to consume something from the back end. And that's something you consume from the back end is referred to as what? Services. And those services are things like what? Your Microsoft Exchange, your SharePoint, your Microsoft Teams, and OneDrive. So in other words, Office 365 only gives you all of this. But like I said, Microsoft talked about it, that with the evolution of the work pattern, people work from anywhere, basically from anywhere they want to work. So what happens? Why don't we rather, that's the question in the, the idea at the back of Microsoft to bring in Microsoft 365. Now, why don't we also include, apart from the Office apps and services they're using, why don't we also include the device? Because for you to be able to consume all of this, you need a device to consume it, right? And that device needs to do what? Run an operating system. So they decided to bring in what? The operating system part of it, which is what? Windows 10 and 11. And then they said, okay, even if we bring in this operating system, what happens to the security? How are we sure that even when we are taking care of everything productivity around this place, and we're taking care of devices, what happens to the security aspect of it? That we are not trading security for productivity. We are not saying that we just want people to be productive on the network, but what happens to the data wherever they go? How do we secure it? Then they added what is called enterprise mobility plus security. So when you talk about Office 365, you're only talking about productivity apps and what? And services. When you talk of Microsoft 365, you talk about everything in Office 365 plus Windows 10 and 11, and then enterprise mobility plus security. And then the enterprise mobility plus security is a mobility management and security platform. So what does this mean? This means that if I have my mobile device, I can actually go what? You know, you can check your email on your mobile device. But some organization will tell you before you can check your mail on your mobile device, it needs to meet some requirement. Things like what? It must not be J-rooted. It must not be jailbroken, whichever one you want to say. It must be able to meet some of the requirements from the organization. You must be able to use PIN to access your emails on your mobile device, because we all know the BOYD, that is bring your own device. We are in that era where anybody can bring their devices and they can work from anywhere. So, and then you want a situation where that when that person leaves the office, you can leaves your company, you can be able to have the organization data on their mobile device. What can allow you to do that is what is referred to as what enterprise mobility or security tool. Let us even look beyond that. Not only when people leave your organization, what about if the devices, their devices are stolen and it has company's information on it? You can actually do what is called what a remote wipe. What will allow you to do that is enterprise mobility plus security too. Let us also go beyond that. Let's say that you want the user that wherever they are connected to, they are not high risk environment. So I give an example today. MJ is connected in Lagos. The location I'm connected in Lagos is my connection point is showing that I'm connected in Lagos. And in 30 minutes time, it also shows that I'm connected from Europe. Is that actually possible? Then that tells any administrator that my account is compromised. What allows me to be able to put measures in place so that my accounts, even when it is compromised, there can be a remediation immediately. Is still what is called the enterprise mobility and security tool. So when you hear the word enterprise mobility, it means that for an enterprise organization, you're encouraging your mobile users to be productive. You're encouraging them to use any tool of their choice. However, you are not compromising security with it. And so you're using security on it. That's why it is a mobility management and security platform. And all of this is what makes M365. So I believe that explanation is cool enough. So let's see what is on the Microsoft Learn about it. So let's give a little bit of background. Also talking about the difference between Office 365 and Microsoft 365. So over a decade ago, it was when Microsoft introduced Office 365, and we all know it as a SaaS solution, software as a service. So let me do something you guys may not be able to see. I'm sorry about that. It didn't occur to me on time. So and then before then, I'm just giving you a little bit of background of history. Before Office 365 even came, it was referred to as what? Microsoft Business Productivity Online Suite. So you call it BPOS. BPOS, what was Office 365 was called before. Later on it was now designed to be called what? Office 365. So before you will hear BPOS, then Office 365 was designed to bring up together these online services to an ever up-to-date cloud services. And then what Office 365 does that it combines the core productivity apps such as your Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Outlook, etc. And then also combines this collaboration and communication services, which I've spoken about, such as your Microsoft Exchange, your SharePoint, and Skype for Business. So Office 365 was growing and it was expanding on communication and collaboration services because it was aiming first at corporate users. Then eventually, what now happened is that over the years, like I said, Microsoft productivity grow beyond what people traditionally think of as office, because people are not only in the office environment, they are now meant to move about. And that is when M365 was now introduced. So M365, Office 365 was renamed to M365 to extend, to reflect the extension of features and benefit beyond the core Office apps and services. So Microsoft 365 bring together the best in cloud productivity apps from Office 365 with advanced management, intelligence, security, and innovative online. So when we talk about the differences, really, Office 365 is a cloud-based service, like I said, that includes all of these, your Microsoft, your Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Microsoft Exchange, SharePoint, Teams, and OneDrive. While Microsoft 365 is a cloud base that includes the same Office apps and services in Office 365 plus Windows 10 and Enterprise plus mobility. And I've talked a little bit of that enterprise mobility. We hopefully by in the next month we will break it down more. Now, with that said, let's go back to our what is Windows 365. So remember that I said that M365 combines what? It combines productivity, it combines intelligent devices, and then it combines what? It combines security. So part of that intelligent devices or Windows 10 or Windows 11 is what is referred to as what? Windows 365. Now, Windows 365 is also a cloud-based device that automatically creates a new type of Windows virtual machine called Cloud PC. So today, every one of you, traditionally, you know what is your Windows 10, your Windows 11 that resides on your PC. And then you have all of your applications, also everything residing on that Windows 10 or Windows 11, whether it is on your laptop or whether it is on your desktop. Now, let's assume that for your environment, so let me explain when the COVID-19 came in. A lot of organizations, one of the challenges they faced was that workers are used to using just desktop. So there are very few people, maybe executive or managerial people or top people in the organization are the ones that only use desktop. So when COVID came, one of the challenges that organization faced was how will they be able to, people can carry their desktops home. And there was a lockdown, there was no way anybody could work. So this is one of the reasons how Windows 365 came handy. So the thought Microsoft did was that, why don't you create a cloud-based services? And that cloud-based services will mimic what you have on-premise. But the difference is that those users, if they have a laptop of their own at home, we can allow their laptops or any devices they have, as long as it has internet services and they go to the browser, they will log in and they will still see their office environment, their windows, their platform the way it is. Or even at that, if we want to employ this next new set of people, because a lot of people lost their lives during COVID-19. But even if we want to introduce new set of people into the system, how do we provision system for them? How do we say, oh, this is your system, this is where you have to work and all of that, and we don't want them to come into the office? Because even during COVID-19, some people were still employed because of the loss of lives they experienced at their workplace. So then Microsoft thought of what? Let's create a cloud-based service that is exactly like Windows 10 or the traditional Windows 10 or Windows 11 that they use on their system. But the difference this time is that they are actually going to be connecting through the browser. So Windows 365 is a cloud-based service that automatically creates a new type of Windows virtual machine. And that is why the difference between physical machine and virtual machine. Your physical machine is the one you see, which is your ordinary your PC, but virtual in this time around is not that. It is not tangible. You can't see it, but then it exists. And it is actually called what? Cloud PC. So Windows 365 securely stream your Windows desktops. See what I'm talking about? It streams everything. It mimics everything that you have on your desktop. your applications that you have on the desktop, the settings and contents from your Microsoft Cloud to what Microsoft from your Microsoft Cloud to a cloud PC. So what does this mean? Every setting you have on your Windows desktop, it takes it. Any applications that you have on your Windows desktop, it takes it. More so, it now takes your Office 365 applications or your M365, every application you are using. Maybe if your application was Word that you use on Office, the Exchange Online, your SharePoint, you also take it and then put them in what is referred to a cloud PC so that you can access it like a personalized Windows 10 or Windows 11 from any of your Windows devices, from any of your iOS or even Android devices. So you can actually pick your phone to continue working. And that's what Windows 365 is like. So again, like I said, let's look at what should have opened this before coming. So let's look at what the Microsoft link gives us about Windows 365, and that can also help us. So to have an understanding, our internet is a bit acting up, but hopefully that will be fine. So like I said, this is the introduction. You may be familiar with the operating system. The most current operating system, is Windows 10 and Windows 11. So Windows 365 isn't exactly an operating system. That is one of the things. And you will see, I just want you to be able to appreciate the reason why I am combining the LAN and then the PowerPoint, because from the LAN, you will see that there are some updated contents that Microsoft has put in the Microsoft LAN. So that's why I'm combining it. So when you think about Windows 365, it isn't exactly an operating system because it is not installed on a PC like Windows, the way you install your operating system. It is actually a cloud-based service. So anytime you're talking about Windows 365, is actually what cloud-based service that automatically creates a new type of Windows virtual machine called my cloud PC. And then we talk about how it secures, how it streams your Windows desktop apps, services, and content from Microsoft Cloud. And then you can actually access it from your Windows ISO or I mean, sorry, iOS or Android device. So Windows 365 is for organization of any sizes and that needs secure and agile hybrid work solution for flexible workforces. So we will look at what these two words mean: hybrid work and flexible work. So we talk about flexible workforces, distributed employees where they are scattered around. They might not necessarily be even in the same geographical location with you, or specialized, or they are using specialized workloads. So this is what Windows 365 is trying to, and this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to continue to the next page before I come back. Now let's look at what is hybrid work and flexible work. When you talk about hybrid work, so hybrid work talks about a combination of traditional in-person office work and remote or off-site work. So when you talk of hybrid work, there is this today. You can go what? You can decide to go to your office, or you can work from home, or you can work from an off-site environment. So you can work remotely or in person in your office workplace. That is what hybrid. So sometimes we mix up what hybrid and flexible work is. So flexible work is a hybrid work model. The difference here is that it allows you to combine remote and in-person days. However, which one works best for you? So hybrid work says you can work on premise or in the cloud. But flexible work allows you to choose which day you want to work on premise in the cloud or remotely or offsite. So, but flexible work allows you to choose That's why the word flexible is there. So I'll give an example from my own place of work today. What we practice is what is referred to. Yes, we know majority of what we practice, let me say 90% of what we practice is what hybrid work, which means our staffs are supposed to come in from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Monday and Friday they work remotely. But they have to come to on-site on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But then that is hybrid work. The flexible work will be that even though my company says I can come in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I can decide to say that I can choose the days I want to really come to work and work remotely. That is what the flexible work is. So I can choose which one works best for me. I can say to my own company that no, yes, I know the standard is that we work remotely Monday and Friday off-site, but I would rather prefer that I can, yes, I'm required to, can I decide which day of the week I want to work in person or just come to work in person or work remotely. That's what flexible work is all about. So flexible work gives you that flexibility to choose which days of the week works best for you to work. Whereas hybrid work says that you work on premise or off site. That's the difference. So let's look at it. So when, where, and how we work is, we all know, is what is fundamentally transforming. Employee wants more flexibility in their choice of workplace, and organizations are shifting towards towards hybrid and flexible mode. And this is in a bid to thrive in this new world of hybrid work and all of that. So people and organizations need solutions that are fluid, that are dynamic and cloud powered, and Microsoft 365 are the solution. So I've spoken about hybrid work is a combination of your traditional in-person office work and remote offsite. This mix of work locations allow employees to enjoy what greater flexibility in their lives. Whereas flexible work is an hybrid work model that allows you to combine remote and in-person days, however works best for you. This model gives employees the most freedom, and they can set their own schedule with a combination of the two. So some organizations today, a lot of words today, what we actually do, we're not telling people to come fully to on-premises. Most organizations are doing hybrid work. It is very few organizations that are actually doing this flexible work model. But hybrid and flexible work affects everyone, and so organizations are looking to incorporate tools that empower their entire workforce, from information worker to frontline workers, to help them adjust to the day-to-day realities of hybrid. So just like information workers, frontline workers need to be able to connect and collaborate across the entire organization. So you have frontline workers that are actually what? Employees whose primary function is to work directly with customer or the general public. They are the people that are doing what? Providing services, support, and selling products, or employees directly involved in the manufacturing and distribution of products. So a few examples of frontline workers are what? Those people that work in insurance. I'm giving an example: retail, rescue, healthcare workers are actually what? Frontline workers. They are the forefront. They are directly what? Interacting with what? With your customers. They are so empowered. These people, if you look through COVID-19, the healthcare staff were actually the frontline people that it was important for organizations or even countries to empower, because you want to empower them around communication, around collaboration, around even the devices they use. You get. So empowering frontline workers with the right technology not only makes their work easier, but enables secure connection and communication between customers, each other, and then the corporate. So in this era of hybrid and flexible work, Microsoft wants every organization to be able to thrive. And that is why Microsoft 365 is a cloud-first platform for all the ways that people work today. And then, so this is one of the reasons that M365 was actually brought forward. And then Microsoft 365 has the capability to empower your organization to meet the diverse needs of all your workers, giving them the ability to work either on-site or remotely using this principle of connected, which means you can stay connected from anywhere in the world and at any time, and your workers can still be able to have access to what cloud-based services and data in their Microsoft 365 subscription. Organization resources such as those offered by on-premise application data center can still be accessed. And then secure, that is, you can ensure that your organization staffs are signing in with secured capability like multi-factors authentication, because you have what is built-in security feature of Microsoft 365 and Windows 10 or Windows 11 to protect against any form of hardware, malware. So I've talked about frontline, and we can see examples of it. Please take this to art. Now let's look at the difference, how Microsoft 365 empower workers in this hybrid world of work. So we have connected, which we look at stay connected from anywhere in the world at any time. Then security, that means you have secure signings with multi-factor authentication and built-in security features against security features to protect against malware, malicious attack, and data loss. Then you have manage, that is, you can manage your workers' devices from the cloud with security settings. And then you can actually say that any apps that does not meet your compliance or your health status, your organization defined system health status, do not join. They can only be joined to your network if they meet this requirement. Then again, M365 empowers your users to be what? Productive and collaborative. So they can stay collaborative and productive with online meetings, chats, shared workspace, and automated business process. And finally, it also improves your employees' experience. That is, you can foster an inclusive, complete culture. And when you talk about inclusive, you will see that today Microsoft is big on diversity and inclusion, which means that irrespective of the way they work or whether you have people with disability in your environment, they can actually feel inclusive as they work, and then you can increase the employees' well-being while making sure that they have all the resources they have. So we are getting close to when we are going to be looking at our exercise right now, because we need to do our exercise real quick. But before then, I don't know why I forgot again to turn this. So let's see if there is any other thing that the Microsoft Learn is adding to this. I would have just run you guys through this, but I wouldn't want us to run. So let's see how so the next task for us now is for us to sign up for the Microsoft 365 development program. And then how we're going to do that, I'm going to upload a documentary fast to you. Let's see. So if you can see my screen, if today you have not signed in for Outlook or Hotmail, just go to outlook.com and you're going to see this. I hope I spell it very well. Okay, it's loading. So meanwhile, let me see. I'm going to upload some. So in the chat window right now, I am uploading a document. If you have that document, you can actually use it to study it, to do what we're about to do. But if you do not have it, you can follow along with me. So first thing, go to outlook.com, which I have gone to. It will redirect you to outlook.live.com/over. So you can actually create an account. So for me, I'm going to create this account, and you can see that the account is outlook.com. So you can actually decide to use Altmail. I have an Altmail account, but just for the purpose of this cloud, I will create a new account and every one of us can go on it. So now we have started our lab. Can everyone see? If you can see my screen, please let me know. It is important that what I'm doing, you are doing the same thing. So if you have a system or you're on your mobile device, please ensure today that, ensure that you can see this and you're doing what I'm doing, because our lab starts now. So I'm going to start with a new account. So let's say my account, let me give it TS Modern Workplace. I'm just going to give it TSD01. That is Textile Modern Workplace 01. And then if the accounts is, so if you see the Word document I have sent in the chat window, please download it. It's going to show you step by step what I'm doing. So this says that somebody else has already taken it. So let's see, Modern Workplace. Okay, so that is available. I'm going to remove my because I need to put password. So So I've put in my password, and then this is saying TXMP01. Just creating an account. So we're just saying my date of birth, let's say is April, but let me say April 1st. Let me see 1985, then click next. So this is how you can create. Some people also have their Gmail account that can be the same thing as a Microsoft account. So first thing first, you need to create a Microsoft account. Now, I'm going to go through this. Okay. Okay. Loading. Oh, wow. Okay, so that verification is done. Then I can. So if you do not have an Outlook account, I hope you're following me. Now let's look at the steps that we require to create a developer's account. So the first thing is that we want to create our Microsoft 365 tenants. And then if you guys remember what we talked about, what the cloud offers you last week, we talked about the cloud being a what? A multi-tenancy. If you remember the word I used, that multi-tenancy, which allows you to create a tenant. So we all have, if I have a big compound and every one of you on this call are like, I'm renting out flats, you become a tenant. So being a tenant, you have what is called a tenant subscription. So a tenant subscription allows you, gives you the right that says within your own boundary, within your own space, you are the authority in your own flat. Even though I am the landlord, I do not have any right to bust into your flat. However, the part of the multi-tenancy is that there is what is referred to as what shared resources. We can share compound. We can share water. If it is a service flat, we share what is referred to as the generator. We share cleaner and all of that. So there are shared, it is what is called shared resources. So in a multi-tenancy environment, which the Microsoft 365 cloud is also, you have a lot of people subscribing to the same service as you. So, but then everyone has their own space. So this mere fact that we all live in the same compound does not give tenant A the right for them to be able to see what goes on in tenant B. And that is why, as much as possible, Microsoft tells you that even though they give you they offer you a multi-tenancy, but you have what is referred to as privacy. You are in control of your data. Nobody is in control of your data. So there is no way your data goes into, yes, there will be some shared resources. They are not going to create a separate exchange online environment for you and then create it for me also. Every one of us have what is referred to as what we all use the same exchange online platform, but there is no form of cross interference with our data. Your data is your data, my data is my data. So that is what you have in Microsoft Cloud. So if you have already set up your what they call it, I will be pasting it for you in the chat window, and I will also paste it on what's the name, on Discord. So I've already opened the Discord channel also so that I can paste it for you guys. Where is our study room? This me. So this is Microsoft 365. So what I'm gonna tell you now is that once we start, I can't, funny enough, I don't think in this code you can attach. Okay, you can upload. So let me upload the file for you also on Discord. So now this is the while I don't know how to use this Discord very well. So, but then let's see. I think, let me press enter. So please help me confirm if it has gone for some of you on Discord, if you can see it. What's this? Okay, I think this is Chief. Okay. So I want to believe that it's gone. Please check. I think it's as easy as just putting it and then. So check if you can see those five for some of you that are not able to. So let's see. So this is the tenants right now. What we're going to do is that we've joined, but you see the prerequisite. If you do not have a Microsoft account, you have to go to this to sign, which is what I have done just now for you to show you how I've done that. So I'm going to say sign. I'm going to remain signing. Now, with that done, I'm now going to do what? I'm going to start this program. So I can either click on it, but if I click on it, it's going to open here. So I want you to know that I've already created an account. So I'm just going to come here. Let's see. So I'm just going to come here and then paste that URL for developer. I'm also going to paste it in the chat window for you. And I'm also going to paste it on Discord. So for you to join. If you want to go through, I've already written it a step by step in this document that I attach. So you can actually visit that step by step on the document for you to see it, and then also go through what. Also, this is a link of how you can join. So now I have pasted in the developers program. I've pasted it in. And like the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to click on join now. Ensure before you click on join now that you have signed in, and then you've signed in with what? With your Outlook account or your Microsoft account, which I have already done here for myself. So it's asking me to pick. I'm picking this. And then, yes. So it's asking me that's the account. Then I can now click on what? Join now. How many of you are doing what I'm doing? Let me see hands up, because the next class, our next class depends on this start. So, okay, great. I'm happy that a lot of you are doing it. So for some of you that probably are not able to do it, just don't worry. This recording will be made available. You can actually go visit it back. But it's very interesting that you sign up for this trial version. You can run it for 90 days. You can continue to extend it. That's the beauty about it. You can run it for your whole year. And you can, when you continue to practice in this environment, you get your hands dirty, you'll be able to know. So you can even see what before, with this knowledge, you can actually manage, you can help organizations to manage maybe the creation of user, changing of license, assigning license, creating groups and all of that. So we'll do all of that in the coming next week, but then we have to set this environment up. So once that is done, you want to put in your country to be my country. I think I can decide to make it is Nigeria, because if I put US, at the end of the day, when he's asking me for me to provide, when he's asking me to provide my phone number, I will have issues. So put it as Nigeria. Then the company name, I want to call my company name is, let me say TS Geek. You can give it any name, TS Geek Limited. That is, okay, so ensure that it's together. You cannot change it. So because that company name is what is going to use as .all Microsoft. So I'm going to call it TSMD Geek. That's what I'm calling it. My own is Test and Learn's Modern Workplace Geeks. I'm just going to call you guys that. So you can give your own anyone, but just ensure that together, because that is what is going to be before your on Microsoft. Then I accept. Then if you like to, you can say, I would like information, tips, and offers about Microsoft developers, and you click next. So then the next thing is going to ask you, what is your primary focus as a developer? Choose one. Applications to be sold in the markets, custom application for my own customer, applications for internal use at my company, or personal project. So you have the option for you to select what you want here. The developer's account you are actually using is actually for you to be able to practice. So you can say it's personal project. You can select anyone you choose. So for me, I can say it is a personal project that I just want to build a project for myself. So that will help you, and then you can click on next. It's just for what is your focus. It won't determine. Then it says, I go back, I click next now, and then sorry, next. So it now gives you which area of Microsoft development are you interested in. So SharePoint, Microsoft Graph, Microsoft Teams, because this is now, you want to extend the functionality, just select everything and then click save. Are we doing well? Are we okay? Do we have any question? Yes. Oduride. Any question? Any question? Okay, so I wouldn't want you to select instant sandbox because you see what it's going to create 25 users for you. But I do, and it's renew. You can see what you have here. um Instant sandbox includes everything you need to build Microsoft 365 and Azure. The sandbox is configured with 16 fictitious user, Microsoft Teams, sample data pack with App Studio and custom and all of that. No, but this option does not require provisioning or manual setup. You create a password, your domain name is pre and is not customizable. That's not what I want. I want a configurable sandbox. You configure your own sandbox from scratch. Wouldn't you like to do this instead than a ready-made so that you can get your hands ready? So for me, and then you can see your domain name because it is selected instant sandbox. It gives your domain name to be mytenant.onmicrosoft.com. And then it is renewable it expires renewable E5 expires on January. This is 2022. I think this is a mistake. Users license you have is 25. So but that I want to do what configurable. And then when I select configurable, you see when it was instant, it gives you all of this because I have sample user, sample email events, Microsoft Teams, one SharePoint site, one, but then I don't want it. I want it to be configurable. So I will add it myself. So I click next. Now it's asking me this. Then it's asking me that I've selected my country. What is going to be my username? So I say maybe my username is admin. I type that well. Yeah. So then he's asking me now to create a domain. So I'm going to call my domain, see what TSMD Geek. So you can see it already shows me that it's trying to check whether it exists, that my name will now be admin@tsmdgeek.onmicrosoft.com. Before he was telling me that my domain was mytenant.onmicrosoft.com. So here you have the flexibility to, you have the flexibility to say, create my own domain. I want to define my own domain. I don't want you to pick domain for me. And then I can now do what? Create password. Okay. Which one am I missing? Your password must be 15 and more. It's plenty. Let me write that down before I forget. Okay. All right. So this is, then I want to add phone number, which is always very important. So the phone number part of it is very important. They are not billing you, but they just want you to add a phone number where they can send um so I'm just going to try to add my phone number and see. Let's see. I hope it not tell me that this phone number already exists because my phone number has been used on several. Uh-huh. I know. No need to tell me that. I've used my phone number in several places. So let's see if I can pick another one. I've used several phone numbers. So, how many of you phone number is going? My own phone number will not go because I've used several ones. I've done for several. I've reached my limits. I've reached my limit of. So it won't go for me. Can you guys use your phone number that is going? Yeah, it's going smoothly for you, Adeyemi. That's nice. So my own phone number I've opened a lot of what they call it. So it's not going. Let's let me see if there's anybody else when I can use. Trying to see whose number I can use. Let's see whether this one will go. So, but if it doesn't go, most importantly is that all right, so we all know the reason why it cannot go on because of my phone number, but I will assume that yours do not have that problem. So I can just go on later on to maybe I'll check, I'll get another number and do that. So with that being said, how many of you have been able to set up your environment? Because I have a lot of environment I can use. So I'm just going to bring up an environment I can use. So if you've set up yours, your environment will look something like this. You should be able to see the Microsoft 365. Yes, winner, you have your hands up. Let me get what. Is there anything you want me to know? Winner, please, can you unmute? Okay, so which one do I want to use? So I'm going to use this one. So you have an environment like this. If you've signed up, how many of you have an environment like this? It tells you welcome to M365. Why you signed up, when you finish, I wish I can take you all through the process. But like I said, yeah. Like Adeyemi has. Is it Adeyemi that is doing it here? Who else? Let me see hands. You guys can unmute if you're having any challenge, so I know what challenges you're having, and then we can solve it together. Okay, great. Winner, is that a yes that you have an environment that looks like my own, where you can see home, where you can create user? Is that what you're saying? Where you have
Yes,
these. All right, that's great. So I'm expecting that let's go on. Well, I'm expecting that when I finish, we can actually um, show the step by step again. So this is what it is. How you set up your tenants. You've set it up. Select join now. On this, you can set up E5. So choose whether you want an instant or configurable. Select next to follow these steps. And then go to subscription page, because now I have a problem that I couldn't go in there. I've signed in my password. Then use the app launcher to go to the Microsoft 365 admin center. So on the admin center, go to guided setup. But I wouldn't want you to go there because it will not let you know. Explore the various admin centers. So let's go through that real fast. So I'm just going to go through the admin center now, and then I will walk us through what we're supposed to see in the admin center. Okay, so like I said, if you have done it the way you're supposed to do it, you are supposed to see something like this. But then if you can, even if this app launcher, this is what is called the app launcher. Can you see my screen? Let me see whether I can expand it for you guys, so that you can see very well. All right, great. Yeah, this is too much. Uh-huh. I hope it's clear enough. So this is what is referred to as what as your app launcher. If you click on this app launcher, you can see all of the apps, and you can also see this admin. So clicking on this admin, it will take me to this place. So if you have this page, it means that you have also been to the admin environment. And now from the admin, you have the home, where the home shows you have cards. This is the card. The card here is Microsoft Teams. You can actually add cards as you want. You see, you can add cards for service health, for setup, for message setup, or Azure Active Directory. Or so cards actually shows you what you want to see, maybe on your dashboard. So if you look at this right now, I've added the one for I can go back to my own. See, I can close this and go back to my own. I added for user management, so you can actually see. I added for training. These are trainings you can actually do. You can see trainings for admin. You can see trainings for end users. Probably maybe you want to roll out M365 in your environment. And then for your users, you are thinking of what kind of training can you give your end users. My dear, Microsoft made life very easy for you. Just come here and select this. It will help you download you can download all the trainings that you can use for your end users. You can even use some of the tips. There are tips in this. If you open it, you will see environment for tips that you can download. Then you as an admin, you need training, you can actually use this one. If you need advanced deployment guides and assistance, that is automated. Maybe you want Microsoft to assist you. They call them fast track assistance. So you have Microsoft partner that can do it, or you can also this is Microsoft partner that can help you. Some of them may be paid services to get you started. So you see, you have a whole lot of trainings. You can learn the
excuse me.
basics. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't know how you got to this admin center because mine, I'm still on the developer subscriptions. That's all I can see.
Can you share your screen so I can guide you to see if some of you are still there? Do you think you can share your screen?
Let me see if I can.
Because I wasn't able, I know you're following me, but I have used up all my phone numbers. So I know I was going to have that issue to sign up. I've used all my phone numbers, so my phone numbers did not meet the security check, so they will not allow me go further. Because I have a lot of tenants that I've signed up for.
It's not allowing me
So,
to share my screen.
eh?
The option to share my screen isn't coming up.
It's not there.
No.
Okay. So where you are, let me see, where you are, you still have the setup. Do you have have you selected the instant message? Hold on, let me see again. So you are here, right? Are you in this setup?
Yes, I'm in that area.
Please click on it.
So,
So I said you can use
okay.
configurable sandbox, right?
Yes, I chose
And then
that.
you
Yes.
click next and you put this
Yes.
domain name, you've put it, you confirmed.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so when you confirm, just what else do you have? You put your password. Then it says you should put
Yes.
your phone number and it will send you a code,
I've
right?
done that. I've done
And
the
then
code.
after that, if you click, then can you say log into your M365? Because that's what's supposed to take you next to.
Let me look for it here. I can see go to your subscription.
And so go to your subscription is what you're supposed to select.
Okay.
So when you go to your subscription, you will sign in with your username and password. When you are there now, I can now show you where you will go to. Let's say go to your subscription, because for remember that the cloud services is subscription based. So if you see you first have to be a tenant before you can subscribe. So there are some apartment that you can pay monthly if it's abroad, and there are some that you can pay yearly. So it's subscription also. Also, you can decide to pay for your DSTV monthly, or you decide to pay all at once for 6 months or a yearly basis. So you can only have a subscription within a tenant, and you can have multiple subscription. The same way you can decide to say, I subscribe to Compact today, maybe for myself, and then for the children, or maybe I said I subscribe to Compact for the children. I can decide to subscribe to Compact Plus or Premium for me and the grown-ups in the house. You get. So the same way you can have different subscription. You can have different subscription in Office 3. So subscription is just what gives you access to a particular service. So have you been able to go inside now?
I'm just trying to
Irene?
log in.
Okay.
I'm just trying to log in.
So when you're able to log in, this is what your screen, like I said, is going to give you. So don't mind this one. I have done too much. That's why you have a lot of things on my screen. Ordinarily, you will not see. You will just see maybe Microsoft 365. This one is at my quick access. That's why you can see all of these. But then if it is not, all you will see is very few things here. And there probably may be something that will tell you, click next. Do you know, like a walkover kind of demo or walkthrough of what your environment is. And once you have done that, you come to this square, this dotted square. It is called the app launcher. And then on the app launcher, you can actually see all of your applications, and then you can see what admin. Now, if I click on admin, it is what opens this for me. And under admin, home is where I would scroll down. That's why I said you will see you can add different cards. But even before you add the different cards, you will see training. You will see guided step for you to install apps. What I added more is to say Microsoft 365 active user report. That is the card. I want to see how active my users are on each of the um, applications or services, how are they using it? That's why I said this. But and then you see training. So this training is where I went to training for users, and you can see learn the basics, training templates, quick starts. You can actually get training here a lot. Modern workplace training, you can start all over here. So are we good? Irene?
Yes, we are. I think I'm in now.
Okay, that's good. All right, so let's head back to, so I said on the home page, on the home, that is where it's like your dashboard. In the admin, this is what you will see, and you can add additional cards. Now, what we want to do now is that I want us to expand user. Remember, so under user, you have active users, that is users that you have in your environment that are active. That is active users are users that you've created. You can also have contacts. So the difference between active users and contacts is that active users are the users that belong to your tenant. So they are like your family member, because they are going to have your domain name, which is in my own case, my own domain name will be what? My own domain name is tsmdgeek.onmicrosoft.com. So active users will be that. They will have your name. They are like your family member. Contacts are like your friends. So contacts also, you can create them. Then guest user are people you invite into your tenant. So they could be people from other organizations. They could be people from other organizations, but you want to work with, and then you invite them. So they could even be people that are using other domain, not me. They might be Microsoft. They might belong to organizations that use Microsoft subscription, or they can be people that are using Gmail or Outlook or Hotmail. Remember when you were invited to TechSeller, we invited you as guests. So these are guest users that you invite to say, come into my tenant because I want you to have access to some resources. Contacts may not have any access to your resources. They might just be people you do business with, and you just want to create an account for them so that it is easier for you to select their email address instead of you adding them or remembering their email address. But contacts could just be people you create so that people can have accounts with them. Deleted items. Now, let us create a new user. Let's go to active users. So by default, because I told you to select the configurable, in my own case, my own lab will be different here. So if I click on active users, you will actually be seeing users that I've created. So in my own case, these are what, because this, what they call it, this tenants, this subscription that I did, I selected instant sandbox instead of configurable. So it created this Adele, Benjamin. These are all instant users. Can that person mute? Can that person mute, please? So, but then I do not, that's why I don't want you people, because I want you people to get the feel of how users are created. So to add a user, all you need to come here is say add a user. So I can give that user a first name of saying, so let me use the name of I can give it what Peter will be. And then say the display name will be Peter will be. So what username do I want this? So I want you people to, so this is like my own domain is winterslt.onmicrosoft.com. I don't want to confuse you because this is my custom domain. So this is the domain from Microsoft when I set up my tenant, but this Olajumoke is my own custom domain. So I don't want you people to get confused. So I want it to look like what you have. So in your own case, it may be whatever your company name you put here, .onmicrosoft.com, but my own name is Winters Ltd. And then the username, let's say I want Peter Obi to be Peter dash or Peter.ob. That's the username. So I have the option of automatically creating a password, Or I can also tell the user that when, even though you receive, require the user to change their password when they first log in. And I can also send the password to an account so that the user. So let's assume this user, I wanted that user to be, maybe he has a Gmail account. I can add his Gmail account here so that they can send him a copy of the password for him to log in. So you see how flexible it is. When you set up people for Office 365 for the first time, let's assume they're in a location. So imagine when COVID happened and you want to onboard somebody that was not in your environment, you can get their own personal email address and then set the details of what I refer to as your corporate email address, username, and email to them. So I can actually put here and say, oh, send a copy of this to my words, to my Gmail, because that's the user's Gmail. You know, send it to the user Gmail so that he knows his username and password. And then I can say what? Require the user. Or if I say don't automatically create a password, it sees that it gives me the option for me to put the password myself. So I can decide to do what? Create a password. So let's do this. Let's say I create what? I automatically create a password because I don't want to remember. So I now say the user should what? Change their password when they first log in. Then I can go to next. Now, when you go next, the next thing that will happen is this. You are asking, what license would I like to assign to this user? Which product license? So these are the product license. I want to select the location. The location is Nigeria, and this location is always very important when you're setting up your environment. You cannot change your location. So these are the licenses I have in my environment. You can see I have 25 licenses available for M365, but I have 7 of it that has not been used. This is my M365 developer. So, and then I have Dynamics 365 P1 trial for information worker. I have 9,199. What am I saying? Yes, I think so. Then I have Power Pages trial also, and I have Power Virtual Agents. I have Automate for free. So, and I can decide to create users without product license. But this time around, I would not give it license. So I would just say create this user what without license, because our next class is going to show us how we can create, how we can assign license. So I say create users without license. And then again, I can decide to say, oh, this row, do I want to give this user a specific role? That is, do I want him to be just an ordinary user, which means he does not have any admin access, or I want him to be an admin and then give him different kinds of rights. So in your own environment, don't be scared to say, oh, I don't understand what all of this rule. You see this circle here? If you mouse around it, it will give you an idea of what permission that user will have if you select exchange admin or you select a role. If you want the user just to be helpdesk, that is, you want them to be able to reset password and re-authenticate for all non-admin, because they cannot change password for admin user. But any user that is not admin, they can be able to change password for them, manage their service requests, and service, they can do all of that. So you can select this. But for now, I don't want us to go there because we will come later to see how we can do right. So just select the user you don't want to give it, and then you click next and we click finish. Now, you can see that I can decide to save this as a template. You can see all the details for me to confirm. The display name is Peter Obi, username is Peter Obi, this, and he told me this is the password, boy134555. Password will be sent to this admin, and then it will also be sent to the Gmail of the user, let's assume. Then if I feel that instead of me all the time come and create this, I can check this box to say, make this template available for other admins who manage user. So I can actually do what? save it as a template, and I can call it as a template and say, maybe for me to be able to create users, I can say users with no license. So if I want to create users with no license, I can save this as a template for them, that users with no license, and then just click save as templates and then close. So let's go and look for the users that we just create. You can come into this place and do a search and say Peter, and then you enter. You will see that you have a new user. Now, I now want to create user. You can see here that under active user, I say add a user template, or I can add multiple users. We will show you later how you can add multiple users, but not now. So later on, I will show you how you can add multiple users. That one is by the way. So, but I'm just saying that user templates now. So I can decide, I have how many templates. I have FCT users and I have a template with no user. So if I select, I want to use the same templates, you will see what will happen. So it just asked me to do what? It won't ask me any other questions because it has already saved the template. So let's say the next user I want to create is Fanny Kayode. And then I say the display name. So I say Fanny.Kayode. And then all I need is that you can see it says the template I'm using is this. It's already, it will not ask me, it said password is already, you see that it has gray details. Password is auto-generated because he already knows that the template I selected. And when I have finished doing all of that and I've said this, with no user, I can just add the user. You see that he did not ask me all of the questions he asked me the other time about how license, because it's reusing the templates. So if you want to be faster sometime, you can create a template and then save that template. And when you are asking, you can see Fanny Kayode is there. And when you look at Fanny Kayode and you look at Peter, you can see that both of them are on license. Now, there are other things you can put here. If you check through the user accounts, you can manage this user. Maybe you want to change the name. I want to change the sign-in name. I want to change the sign-in domain name. Maybe I want it to start using my custom domain. You can do all of that. The arrow here is to go back. You can see all the devices that is assigned to this user. If Fanny Kayode has enrolled any devices in Intune, remember, Intune is a component of EMS, Enterprise Mobility Plus Security tool. This Intune is what is responsible for what? For device management. So if Fanny Kayode has enrolled any devices, you will see it here. If you come to license and apps, you will see any apps, license that has been assigned to Fanny Kayode. Right now, there is no license. If he has a license for Exchange Online, you will see that he has. But right now, he doesn't have any mail accounts. He is just an ordinary user. He does not have any email account because no license has been assigned to him on Exchange Online. What about OneDrive for Business? You see also, OneDrive for Business is also not set up. The reason why is because no license has been assigned to this user. Do you get? Now, let's go back to the account again. From the account, you can see information about when this user was last signing in the last 30 days. So he said no attempt in the last 30 days. You can see any alternate email address if you want to provide. If I want to provide an alternate email address, I can provide it here. I don't have anyone. Sorry, I should have clicked it. Then you have contact information. You can put his contact information, his phone number, if you note for Fanny Kayode's phone number. Then view the Microsoft 365 activation if he has already set any. You can actually manage multi-authentication that you want this user to provide another level of authentication. Maybe you want him to be able to provide SMS. An SMS sent to his phone number, you can manage authentication here. You can see that it opens a new window. We will go through that later on. Then if this Fanny Kayode has a manager, I can add a manager. Let's say I add his manager and say his manager is what? Let's say, I don't know whether I have Bola Tinubu here. in my this thing. I do not have. So let's see, let's put Peter will be at his manager. So I can put manager here and save setting that. Peter will be his financial this management. Then if it belongs to any group, I can put in here. But I will show you how to create a group, and then we can now come back and add Fanika and Peter will be into that group. Then you can sign out on all sessions, whether he has a session on his mobile device. A session talks about the word session. It means that this particular user has set up an environment to use specifically for maybe for on his mobile device, on his laptop, on his iPad. So you can actually sign out of all sessions for the user. But we'll not do that now because there is no need. So let's go to what? Groups. Now, there are active groups which are not in use. We can see by default, I've created this. But let's create another group. Let me show you how you can create another group. And so when you want to create a group, you will see the different kinds of group. You have Microsoft 365 group. This group creates a group email to collaborate. You can also add Microsoft Teams for group conversation and calendar. We'll talk about that. Then you have distribution group. And then you have me enable security and security group. We'll talk about all of the different kinds of group later on. So let's say I want to create a group type, and my group type is Microsoft 365 group. And then next, I want to call the group. Let me say I call the group let me call it poly group. I'll just do my group. And then I can decide to leave description or I don't put any description. And I can decide to assign owner and say maybe the owner for this group, I call it Peter. Obi is the owner. That's the owner of the group. The owner is different from members. So members, the owner of the group, if you look at the description, is that group owners have unique permission. They can add or remove members. They can delete conversation from the shared inbox and change group settings. But members are just what? They are just people that you want to be part of that group. So let's look at it. And an owner automatically becomes a member of the group. So if I call, let's say, first thing I want to let's go back to members. I've not had it. So let me add Fanny as part of the member. So let me see if I select Peter, it will also tell me that Peter already exists. Okay, no problem. So I cannot give it a group name. Maybe my group name is poly group, It wants to check whether, then do I want the group to be private or to be public? And you can see the difference between both of them. It will actually tell you what's the difference, the privacy. Public group can be joined by everyone without getting approval. Private group aren't open for everyone to join. So you can decide what your group is. So for now, let me just say it is public. And then let me leave all of this by default. I don't want you to do anything yet. I don't want to add Microsoft Teams to the group. I don't want to do any role assignment. Just click next and I see create the group. So you can see I can go back to groups. I go back to active group. I do a search for my poly group and I will see it's the poly group. It has been created. That's the way for you to create. And then the good thing about it is that instead of me sending, imagine you have about 250 users and you want to send mail to all of those users. Why don't you just create a group and put all of them and send the mail to the group, and then those 150 users, you just send one mail and those members in the group will receive it, as against me sending mail to each of them one after the other in 250 times. You know how tiring that is. Okay, so let's go again. Another thing you can see, I'm still on admin center, is for us to see billing. So let's look at what billing is. If you click on billing, you can see the products that you're entitled to. So I've gone to users, I've gone to teams. Now I'm going to what billing. So on billing, you can actually see what all the licenses you are entitled to. So if you click on licenses, you can see the license that your subscription have. So let's see my own loading. Okay, oh sugar, it has already loaded before. So you can see subscription, that this is my subscription. I have M365 developer, I have all of these. These are the licenses that I have. You get, so I can actually assign license. So let's say I have this one, I say 7 is remaining. I can now see the way for me to assign. I can say assign license. Now if I want to assign license, I can look for Fani Kayode and then who and Peter Obi, and then do what? I can assign license to them. So you see, I selected the M365 license, and these are all the services under my M365 license. You see, a lot of them. I can now decide to say, oh, this services is too much. Maybe I want to remove one. I want to uncheck that they don't need it. So, but then let's leave everything as default and just assign the license. So when I assign license, you will see that it has changed. I can send them a mail to say assign license, or I can decide not to send them a mail. So I can send them a mail to say license has been assigned to you, which I can customize. So this is how license is assigned. And let's look at Fani Kayode again. Let's go back to our users and see inactive users. Let's see whether Fani Kayode and Peter are showing license now. So what are their license? So let's say Peter. And then you can now see that the license status has changed from unlicensed to M365. And then for Fani Kayode also, it's going to be the same thing. That it has changed from this to this. And when you click on this, you can actually see that it has license. You can see that it has group now. It belongs to this group. It also belongs to the company group, but every user that is created belongs to the company group, because the group is created for all users that are in the company that has a license by default. So it now belongs to two groups, the poly group and the group by default for the company. And then you can see that the manager. And then when you go to license, you can see his license that he has, which means that from here also I can still click for him if I want to give him another license for Power Automate or for Power Pages or for Power Virtual Agent. I can actually give him. Then for mail, I can see now that instead of the other time, I can now see a mailbox that he has a 100. Before he told me that he does not have Exchange Online. It is only when, so what you have to be at the back of your mind is that it is only when a license is assigned to a user that he is able to have what? A mailbox. If a license is not assigned to the user, it will not have a mailbox. So bear this at the back of your mind. Then again, he has OneDrive. You can actually go, it takes 24 hours to set up, but you can actually set up your OneDrive for business later on. And so you can see the difference with what we saw earlier and then what we're seeing now. So with that, let's say I want to see other features. I'm going to collapse my active users, my billing. I want to see other admin center roles that I can see. I can come towards show up, and then you can see admin center. So admin center are like the administrative dashboard or environment for admins to be able to manage each of the services in Microsoft 365. So you can see admin center for Azure Active Directory, where all the user's account that I create. We will go there now and see that the same users in this place, I will see them in Active Directory, Azure Active Directory. Bear it at the back of your mind that Azure Active Directory is what is responsible for your authentication. When you put in the username and password, it is coming actually to this Azure Active Directory before it now redirects you to the M365 homepage for you to be able to see your resources. But what authenticates that credentials you put is actually what your Azure Active Directory. So if you want to learn more about each of it, you get, if you come to all admin center, it's going to open here and you can actually see a quick definition of what each admin center stands for. So I'll just allow it to open. So you can see Azure Active Directory, it tells you the description, it tells you it secures your entire identity. Azure ATP, these are all admin center, compliance, endpoint, exchange. It will tell you everything. So on admin center, if you say show all, it will only show this few. But when you click on admin center, it will list these ones that is showing here and then all of this here also. And you can check description against what you want to do. So if I want to go to Teams to go and see all the user that has been able to Teams, this is where I will go to the Teams admin center. If I want to go to the SharePoint to see all the users, to see every site that has been created in SharePoint, this is the SharePoint admin center. I will click on this and it will open. So we want to see our Active Directory now. This is Azure AD. Now look at the Azure AD. Under Azure AD, you have overview, you have users, you have group, you have devices, application, and then so let's see users. All the users that we have on the same Office 365 environment, they are also all created here. So let's say I want to look for Peter, because like I said, your Azure AD is what actually accepts that credential and then now redirect you to a resource for you, which is M365 for you to watch. Without your user being created there, you cannot actually access any of the resources there. If your username and password is not right, and this Azure AD does not authenticate that you are right, it does not give you the authorization for you to check your resources on Office 365. Let's also see the Fanny Coyote that we have created. You can see it is here. If you click on this user, maybe the details of the user, you will see that it is different. What you're seeing here is different. You can see you have an overview. You can reset password. You can revoke his session. You can manage the view. You can see his user principal name. You can see the object ID. Every account or every object you create in Azure AD has a unique object ID. Then you can see the group it belongs to. You can see the assign role. You can see the assign license. It says it is only one. You can see the account status, whether it is enabled. You can see all is signing from the last, probably me want to select 30 days and all of that. Then you can see audit logs for this user. You get audit logs for this user, you can see. Then you can see if it belongs to any group. You will see the groups it belongs to, which is Poly Group and Windows Ltd. You can see any assign rule. You will tell you that it does not belong, it does not have any assign rule. You get. If we finish loading, it will tell you that there is no assign rule. You can see any applications that are assigned to this user. I said there is no application. But what about licenses? You can see the same thing, that is only M365 IFA developers license. And how many services is enabled? 57/57. All the services are available. What about devices that this user is using? You can see all of the signing devices. So your Azure Active Directory environment actually gives you more view than any other. You get. Then this is what your Azure. So let's go back to our admins again and see. Let us try to open the one for Teams and see what Teams admin center will look like. Any questions so far? Are you guys with me the way I'm moving? Any question? Are we tired? Should I go on or not? Hello, are we tired? Can we unmute and say something so I know whether you guys are?
Doing well.
Okay, then that's great to know. Okay, like I said, we are not getting, last week was more of, we are just playing with ourselves. Now we are in the real business. Now this is not getting our hands very dirty, because I would, after this is getting our hands really dirty, we are now in the real business. All along, we've just been playing. Yes, Olaide Ajayi. Can you unmute? Yes, go ahead, please. Tell me what question. I can't hear you. Olaide, I can't hear you. Okay, maybe when you're about to speak. So, but let me quickly take you guys through the Microsoft Teams Admin Center. Now, the Microsoft Teams Admin Center, you can see, you can have announcements overview. This is what the dashboard looks like. If you want to introduce new teams, recommendation, deployment start, you can actually help you to follow a guided step for you. This is Teams. If you want to manage teams, you know, that is everyone that has been, I mean, sorry, when you talk about teams, you know, when we're creating group the other time, we talk about M365 group. So when you create an M365 group, you also create what is called a team also. So team are like groups, are like a focused kind of group that you create maybe for a project or for a specific task. So you see that we have our modern workplace teams created for us. So if you want to have an idea of if you want to appreciate what I'm talking about, you can see this is teams. But now we have an M365 word channel. So the team is Tech Deep Dive Cohort 4. This is our team. This team now contains very specific channels. We have modern workplace, we have data analytics. So Teams is actually used for a more focused project. Yeah?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm lost. How did you get to this team tab? I can't access it from my email.
Okay, go on. Hold on, I got to the Teams tab. It's for me to go to All Admin Center, like I said. So if you go to this All Admin Center, remember that I said Admin Center will only show you a few. But if you say show all, it will still show you a few, but you will say All Admin Center, you can now come to what teams, or you can even see teams there, or you come when it has shown, or you All Admin Center, you select teams. So Teams Admin Center, this is it here. Is it, huh?
Yes, I'm there now. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay. Elijah, I'm still waiting for you to talk. So you have teams, you have team settings where you can set settings, you have policy, you have templates you can use. We will come into this when we're touching teams very well. Then you see all the users in teams. You can manage all the users that has been enabled for teams here. If you want to give somebody guest access for teams, actually, you can come in here and give people guest access for teams. So these are all the users. Can we look for the user that we've just created? Let's see whether Fanny Kayode and Peter has access for teams. You can see they have access. We can see Peter also whether he has access for teams. You can see it here. Then you can manage guest access. You get guest access. You can say, oh, I want guests to be invited into my team's tenant. You get. So you can, this is where you turn it on that you want to allow, but don't bother your head so much because we will come into this. I just want us to walk through another admin center. Then you have, if you have devices that are for Teams, maybe like your room devices, Teams room on Android, Teams room on work windows, phones, and all of that, Surface or devices. You can actually manage them. There may be applications you want to use within Teams. You can actually manage applications here, the permission. Then if meetings, how do you want? What are the policies you want to set for your meetings? You can have meeting policies, you can have meeting settings and all of that. Some of you say you cannot see chats. These are the places where you set it. Messaging policies. These are where you set policies for whether people can see chats and all of that. For meetings, these are where you also set policies for meetings. If you want people, what you want your meeting to look like, or what people to do in the meeting and all of that. So this is places we set policies. Then you have voice. If Teams is not only for chats, it's not only for collaboration, it can also be integrated with your phone system, where you can have phone numbers, operators number, direct routing, calling policies. You can actually, so Team is like a platform. It's actually very huge. It's one of the best solutions or services that Microsoft brought up into M365, because you can do everything from here. You can create caller ID, you can create caller pack policies. You know what pack policies is, where you have a lot of queue. Okay, like I said, I don't know what is wrong with my Mac. I stuck at the phone security part. It's showing phone number not formatted. Okay, great. So your phone number, you will have to select Nigeria, except you did not change your country to be Nigeria. So what will happen is that if you want to have your phone number, so you will not include your first digits, because it has already selected +234. Then you don't need to include your digit of zero. If my number is 080, I will not have to include the first digit. I will just include 80. So ensure that the Nigeria is the location you selected, and then the phone number, you have the location selected to be +234, and then you put your phone number. Don't put the first digit, just start from the second digit downward. So try it and let me know how it goes, please. So we have phone policies. You can talk about location. You can talk about planning, how to plan your team's environment and all of that. And you can also get analytics and reports. Just walk around these. You can actually see just walk around just to get yourself familiar. And I always tell people something: don't be in a hurry just to click on a tab and then not take any pains to read the meaning of what that tab or that card is saying. That is the best way for you to learn. So when you click on something to say, just like I click, so it says now, select a workload to deploy, because I've gone somewhere, you can actually see what this particular place is telling me. Oh, these are the workloads I want to declare. Or is it meeting, conference I want, or Skype for business upgrade you get? Or do you want to add team members and all of that? And it's giving you resources of how to go through it. So you have all of these. So this is what my Teams admin center looks like. So let me return back to cancel. Yes, the card, I'm not ready. So let me return back to the users that I talk about, where you can manage your user. So from here, I can actually remove a user. I can see the status of their user, whether they are online or they are offline. So this is what, and then I can see all the users' status really. And then this gives me, just 1 minute, please. Okay, so sorry about that. So that's what it looks like. I guess all of you can see your team. So you don't stop at only Teams channels. Maybe after today, you can go and pick another one, SharePoint. Let me see what the SharePoint environment looks like. You can select SharePoint Admin Center also. Let me see. Oh, let me see what my SharePoint Admin Center looks like. So you can do that and you continue. So we've been able to check the teams. Let's go on. I just have a few class slide before we go for our test, our assessment. Oh, sugar, we've taken off a lot of time today. I hope you are enjoying your class. Please let me know when you're tired so that I. So the next thing is to talk about productivity tools in M365. So we're going to be looking at the productivity tools, capability, and benefits. So one, if you want to create a content in real time, what are the tools you're supposed to use? You will use Office apps like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote. Again, if you want to access files and photos from anywhere, what kind of tools you will use? Productivity tools you will use OneDrive. If you want to collaborate through online meetings, chats, and call, what kind of tool are you going to use? You will use your Microsoft Teams. If you want to always stay connected and organized, that is, you want to be able to set meetings, you want to be able to see calendar and all of that. Okay, let me not confuse you. If you want to see your emails and also be able to set up calendar meetings and all, you can still use your Outlook, because Outlook is like a client to Exchange. Then if you want to stay updated through business class email and calendaring, it's Exchange. You want to optimize and simplify operations like project, planner, bookings. You will use productivity apps like projects, planners, booking, to-do form lists. Then if you want to streamline everyday processes, you're looking at Power Apps and Power Automate. Those ones are what you can see. When I was doing our introduction, I say M365 is the mother of them all. Now they're doing Power Apps, they're doing Power Automate, they're doing Power BI. Everything is inside still Microsoft 365. So let's look at these apps more. So what are these apps one after the other? Let's look at them. So you have Microsoft 365 app is the cloud connected version of Office. So you have Microsoft 365 apps. Is different from Microsoft 365. Inside Microsoft 365, you have apps which are called Microsoft 365 apps. And these apps include what? Access. You can only be used on PC only. Excel, you can use it on online and on PC. Teams, you can use it on your desktop and your PC and online. OneDrive for business, OneNote, Outlook, PowerPoint, Publisher is only also on PC only. But Word, every other thing here, you can use it on both your PC and online. And they are always available as subscription. So you have Microsoft 365 apps for business and Microsoft 365 apps for enterprise. So you can buy them as a subscription if they don't come bundled with the plan that you bought in M365. So what are the benefits of Microsoft 365 apps? You can work across multiple devices. You can work with apps that are always up to date. You can work intelligently through connected experience, e.g. your PowerPoint, designer, editor, researcher, etc. Let's look at work management tool in M365. These are tools that you actually use to help you for management purposes in your work. One is Project. Project is a cloud-based work and project management tool designed for more complex work efforts. So who are the people that are going to be using Project? They are going to be people in your environment that are called project managers. Your project managers will use projects to do what? To be able to create project timelines, schedule, even cost, resource allocation. So this is an application in M365. So project is good for it. Planner is a task management tool that enables people to plan, manage, and complete task-based initiative. So you can actually use Planner. You can integrate it with a Kanban tool, if you know what is called a Kanban tool. You can also use Planner also to integrate with your projects. Then you have bookings. Booking is an appointment scheduling and management system that includes web-based booking calendar and integrates with Outlook. So imagine that you want to see when I'm available. I can actually publish my booking app to you to make it public and provide you a link so you can actually book a meeting with me. You can see my availability when I will be free. That's what booking is. So it actually does what? It integrates with Outlook very well. Then you have the to-do. The to-do was actually called task. Your to-do is like your task before. So it's a task management app that makes it easy for you to plan and manage your day. So I can say, oh, this is my to-do. These are the tasks I want to complete. And I can actually assign tasks to people from within Planner. You get, you can add, so Planner helps you now to manage. You can combine Planner with to-do. The form is an app that allows you to create surveys, quizzes, polls, and other types of forms to capture. So what we are going to use to do our assignments now, our assessment, is forms. Then you have list, which is an information tracking app that gives you a way to organize information and walk through. Now, other Microsoft 365 productivity apps that we have is what? Your Dynamics 365, your Power BI, your Sway, your PowerPoint, your Power Apps, your Whiteboard, your Dynamics 365 Customer Voice, your Power Automate, the Power Virtual Agent, the Power Pages, those ones that we saw before now. So let's talk about collaboration solutions for Microsoft 365. And then talking about it, you're going to look at the capabilities and the benefits. So when you talk about collaboration tools for Microsoft 365, the number one that helps you to be able to chat, to call and virtually meet with your teams is what? Is the Microsoft Teams. Then if you want to collaborate on files in real time, which means that Adeyemi is working on a file and I'm working on that same file together, that both of us can work together on a Word document, which we call, that process is called co-authoring. That is, Adeyemi can make changes to a Word document and I also can make changes, and we can work in real time. We can see each other changes. What allows that to happen is what is referred to as OneDrive. Now, I want you to take to mind that OneDrive is referred to as what? As your own personal storage. So the difference between OneDrive and SharePoint, we will talk about it in a bit. So OneDrive is actually meant for you as an individual or for your staff. Meanwhile, SharePoint is actually used for the whole organization. So you can share news on SharePoint. You can share content on SharePoint also with people inside and outside your organization. With OneDrive for Business also, you can also invite people outside the organization. Also, if you share files to them, but this is as good as saying, this is my document. Your OneDrive can be said in another way to say, my documents. Do you get? It is personal to you, whereas SharePoint is for the whole organization. Then if you want to network and engage with people across your organization, you use Yammer. If you want to distribute video across your organization on SharePoint, you use Microsoft Stream or Microsoft Stream on SharePoint. Then if you want to collaborate through business class email and calendar, you use what? Microsoft Exchange. And then you want to stay connected and share your availability, you use Microsoft Outlook. What about the fact that you want to empower people and teams to be at their best, because everybody is working remotely? Because you want to be sure that people are giving their best even while they're working remotely, you use what is called Viva. Now let's talk about Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is a collaboration app, a hub for teamwork, and with it you have security and compliance. Some of the features you benefit is because it is built on the same enterprise level security and compliance and manageability as the rest of Microsoft Teams. So of Microsoft 365. So you can be sure that you have security and compliance. Microsoft Teams also offers you online meetings because you can collaborate through online meetings, webinar, live meetings, audio and video conferences, just like what we're doing right now. With Microsoft Teams, you have teams and channels. So you create teams and channels to bring together to work on projects. Like I said, it is for a focused goal. So you want to work on projects, you want to work on specific thing, you can create your teams and challenge to keep the conversation and content what organized. Just like people for modern workplace go to modern workplace channels, the people for data analytics will go to data analytics channels in Microsoft Teams, because you want to keep the conversation and content organized. Then Teams Phone is what you use for voice or video calling on your computer or tablet or mobile devices. Then you have chat and instant messaging, which is what we've been doing. I've been asking, can you see the chat? You can chat with me, I can chat with you, and we can have instant messaging, and we can even make a phone call immediately. Then collaborative apps also means that from within Teams, I can integrate tools that I already know or create custom application to help my teams work better. So I'm just gonna quickly do something. No, we're above time. Sugar. So let's talk about Microsoft Viva. So Microsoft Viva is an integrated employee experience platform designed for everyone to connect, to learn, and grow. And the purpose of Microsoft Viva is for you to use for connection. You have one, so you have Viva Connection. So Viva Connections, there are different types of Viva apps. One Viva Connection, and the whole aim is for you to do what? To enhance connectivity or connection. So you can use Viva Connection to discover relevant news, conversation, and quickly access to tools and resources. Another Viva tool you can use is what? Viva Engage, which openly share, isolate, problem solve, and contribute across boundary. Then for you to gain insight, you have what is called Viva Insight, which provide privacy, protected insight, and actionable recommendation. Then of Viva goals, you have a goal setting and objectives and key result management solution. This is mostly purpose driven. Then if you want to attain growth for your employees, you use what? Viva Learning. Viva Learning is a centralized learning of design for skill buildings and learning. Then you also use what? Viva Topic. This one is a knowledge discovery through organized content and expertise on topic pages. Then for sales, this is role-based. If you are focused on role-based, Viva Sales is a seller experience application designed to help sellers. So this Viva Sales actually integrates with what? Remember what I showed you the other time, Dynamics 365 Sales. You can actually integrate your Viva Sales with it. Then let's talk about Yammer. Yammer is a secured enterprise. So we normally, if you want to think about Yammer as your own Facebook. So you will call Yammer as what? Your organization Facebook. So the way Facebook works today is the same way Yammer works. So if you want to remember Yammer in a very quick way, just think about it as your own organization or corporate Facebook. So it's a secure enterprise social network designed for networking and engaging people across your organization. And you have things like leader engagements, where you communicate at scale with site for leaders to share news, polls, broadcast live events, and real-time Q&A. Then you have modernized employee communication, where you can create compelling communication with rich text and keep everyone informed and engaged across web and mobile. Then for knowledge sharing, you can actually share knowledge, best practice, ideas, and feedback across the organization. Then again, you can engage your employee and then provide communities, power communities in Microsoft 365 through Outlook, collaborate on Office files, and bring communities on SharePoint, really. So let's talk about our the fourth modules. We're going to be looking at the endpoints, really. And the fourth module really talks about endpoint modelization, management concept, and deployment options. Please pay attention, because your assessments, all of these things that I'm talking about, there is an assessment for it for today, and you are actually going to do that assessment. So for endpoint management capability of Office 365, Microsoft 365 enables you to simplify the management of all your devices. I know I've said that a lot, but pay attention here. Through their, and they does this through what endpoint management solutions. And which ones are the endpoint management solution? One, you have Microsoft Intune. Remember what I said. Microsoft Intune is cloud-based unified endpoint management solution, and then it is used to manage what mobile devices and applications on mobile devices. Your organization applications, and then the mobile devices the people using and accessing the application. Then you talk about a configuration manager. Configuration manager is what we called SCCM before now. So it's an on-premise management solution, but it is something that you use for. So if you work in an environment where you see people push updates to you, your admin people push updates to you, or not only they push updates to you, they also do what? They deploy operating system to your machine. You just plug your machine to the network, and then operating system is loaded. What allows that to be done is what is configuration management. Then you have core management. Core management combines this configuration management and Microsoft Intune features. So while you can manage on-premise devices, you can also manage cloud devices with the ability of this core management. The tenant attached manages a combination of cloud and on-premise endpoints. That's what tenant attached. So the two way for you to manage your devices, whether they are on-premise or in the cloud, or for you to integrate Microsoft Intune and configuration manager, is actually using what? Co-management, which allows you to combine configuration management with Intune, or tenant attached, which will only manage a combination of your cloud and on-premise endpoints. Then you have endpoint analytics, which provide metrics on health and performance of your devices. So you want to see how your devices is doing. You want to see whether they are healthy or how their performance is. You use this endpoint analytics. Then for Windows Autopilot, so I said for configuration on-premise. Configuration on-premise, when you want to push operating system, when you want to push operating systems to devices on-premise, you use configuration manager. What about if those operating system you want to push to cloud-only devices? Then you use what? Windows Autopilot. So it helps you to set up and pre-configure new devices to get ready for use, as long as they have an account in Office 365. Then you have your Azure AD, which manages the identity of the users, the devices, and the group. Then you have the Endpoint Manager Admin Center. Remember, it's an admin center is where you will manage everything here, all of these things that we've said. So you'll be able to add users and group, create and manage all of the policies that guides everything that we have spoken about here. So now Windows 365 and Azure virtual desktop, they are two different things, but they are both virtual desktop solution, also known as what? Desktop as a service. Now the difference between both of them, because sometimes when you hear Windows 365 and you hear Azure virtual desktop, people get confused. That is Azure virtual desktop, which is AVD, is not the same thing as Windows 365. People get a lot of, most times they get confused, but this is the difference. Windows 365 is a subscription-based cloud PC service, while AVD is a desktop and app virtualization solution on Azure. So bear that in mind. Now, Windows 365 has personalized Windows 10 or Windows 11 desktop. With AVD, you can do multiple sessions of desktop and remote app streaming, which means one desktop can serve several people. You can have multiple sessions. I can just have just one virtual desktop and have so many, close to 100 of people using that one desktop. So they will have multiple sessions on it. But this one is it's personalized to you alone. It is just you alone that is using it in Windows 365. Now, Windows 365 stream your app, your data content, and settings to any device. Meanwhile, AVD runs Microsoft 365 apps in a multi-user virtual scenario. Remember what we said, we can have multiple sessions, so you can also have multiple users scenario doing what? Running the apps. The management and deployment in Windows 365 is familiar with desktop tools, whereas in AVD, you have full control over management and deployment. Then Windows 365, you can predict per user pricing. This one is a flexible consumption-based pricing. Windows 365 is optimized for simplicity. If you want to make the life of your user simple, yes, this is. But for AVD, it is optimized for flexibility. So it is flexible enough. I can say that, okay, I just want to run desktops, and these are the set of applications I want to run. So you can actually customize the kind of application you want to put in an AVD environment. So deployment and release models for Windows as a service. So remember, Windows 365 and AVD are referred to as what? Desktop as a service. Whereas we have Windows as a service. Windows as a service is what a lot of organizations are using today, and is a model that is designed to make life easier for both user and IT pros by simplifying the deployment and services of Windows client computers. So you have the servicing types, which you have release type, you have feature updates, quality updates. They are not security release or combined security plus non-security releases. Then you have service channels. You have Windows Insider Program. I'm a part of Windows Insider Program. It means that I get updates easily as they're available. I get the new version of Windows as it is available. Then you have general availability channel. You have long-term servicing channel. The deployment model, you can have it in preview, limited, or broad. And then deployment models are modern, dynamic, and traditional. So we will talk about this. Is actually a very important thing, because your exams, you have exams around it. Your exams for MS 900 actually covers a lot of that. So I will encourage you to read in depth the Microsoft Learn. So deployment method and update channels for Microsoft 365 apps. So all applications, whether it is Office, Word, Teams in Microsoft 365 today, they all have deployments and update channels. For deployment model, you can deploy from a local source with configuration manager. Remember that I said the configuration manager is what you use on premise. So you can actually help you to deploy operating system. You can deploy updates with it. You can also deploy what applications with it. You can even do what is called baseline configurations to say that this is the acceptable applications that should run in my environment. You use configuration manager to do it. You can deploy from the cloud with the Office deployment tool. This is the one a lot of people know, which means you use Office deployment tool from the cloud to deploy your Office application. You can deploy from a local source with Office deployment tool. You can do service store from the cloud. Now, in terms of update channels, the way you can have updates for this application, you can have current channel, which is as the updates is released currently, you have it, or monthly enterprise channel, which means it is released on monthly occasions. And then you have semi-annual enterprise channel, which every six months you can get your applications updated. So this actually is a preference for your organization, which one you are comfortable with. Then how updates are installed is that Microsoft 365 checks for updates regularly, and they are downloaded and installed automatically based on the update channel you selected. Whether you want it that as it is made available, please make it available and install for me, or I want it to be on a monthly basis, or I want it to be bi-yearly. So lastly, these are the last thing we want to talk about. We want to talk about describe analytics capability of Microsoft 365. Here, we're going to describe how Viva Insight helps people and organizations work smartly. We're going to describe the capability of Microsoft 365 Admin Center and User Portal. We're going to describe the reports available. Now let's talk about the capability of Viva Insight. Please pay attention because this forms part of your exam also. Viva Insight provide privacy protected insight and actionable recommendations that help everyone in the organization to work smarter. So you have three types of insights that are provided by Viva Insight. You have personal insight, you have team insight, and you have organization insight. Now, personal insight provides you an insight into personal well-being, how your users are staying connected, how they protect their protected time, they call it, the effective meetings they do, their inspiration library, their daily briefing, their outlooks, and then you have teams insight, where you have teamwork habits. You look at how your users conduct themselves, and then you can also provide you key recommendation and actions such as how they reviewed important emails or documents, how they scheduled their meeting, how did they consider changes for quiet hours where they would not do anything, but they just want to have a focused time. Then you have organization insight. So organization trends give visibility into current team or company-wide norms, your employees' well-being, your meeting effectiveness, and then how managers are actually connecting very well to their subordinates or their team. So then you have the Microsoft 365 Admin Center and Microsoft 365 User Portal. Now, Microsoft 365 Admin Center is different from Microsoft 365 User Portal. We see what the Admin Center is used to manage users by adding, deleting, or restoring users. You can manage licenses by adding or removing license. You can manage an M365 group, which is what I showed you, by creating, deleting. You can manage your billing. You can view or create service request. You can manage global settings for app. You can view activities report and service. While Microsoft 365 User Portal is designed for users to access their email, their calendar, their documents through Microsoft 365 apps like Office, like Teams, like Outlook, and more on the web with any devices and internet access. So you have to know the difference between this one, and admin can also use it to do administrative tasks. This one will only provide you. So if you are going to teams.microsoft.com, it's actually a user portal. If you are going to outlook.office.com to check your emails, it's actually a user portal. If you're going to office.com for you to be able to use your apps, it's actually a user portal. So what are kinds of reports we can get in M365 Admin Center? So you have M365 Admin Center reports. You have adoption score. You have which provides metrics, insights, and recommendation in two areas. Please pay attention here. The adoption score provides metrics, insights, and recommendation in two areas: people experience, technology experience. Then you have usage reports, which helps you to see how your users are using what the M365 apps and services across your organization. The other admin center which reports, which I showed you that if you want to go to other admin center, you have security, you have compliance, which is known as security now is named Microsoft 365 Defender. Compliance is called Microsoft Purview. And then we have Endpoint Manager, Azure Active Directory, Exchange, SharePoint, Teams. Those are admin centers you can visit. And so this brings me to the end of the class. I know there's been a lot of information, but I'll be willing to take any question before I take you over to go and do your test, your assessment for the day. So any questions so far? Right now, my system is crying. Questions. I can't hear you. Can you type your message? I can't hear you. Hello? Hello, any question? Actually want to stop. Any question? No question. All right, so no question. I want to believe that every one of you on the call are still here. So let's quickly do our test for the day. So I'm giving you a question now. Yes, times really move so fast in this class. Yeah, it's a lot so sometimes. So for so for our class for today, this is our test. And it's going to, you have 30 minutes to complete this. So let us be sure that everything I've been saying since, I know some people are tired and they can hear me. So let's test our assessments. You all have 30 minutes to do it. I'll put it, whichever time you do it, it will time you out for 30 minutes. So if you want to do it now or you want to do it later on, just bear it in mind that once you start, you only have 30 minutes to finish it. So I'm going to put it on the Discord channel also. Just tell people. So on the Discord channel, please submit your assessment before end of next week. You have 30 minutes. So whichever time you want to do it. I know a lot of you right now, you're tired. So I understand. I'm going to copy the same message and put it in our Teams channel. So where is our Teams channel? So week 2. Oh, sugar. I don't have energy to type. I'm listening if any of you have questions. So whichever time you decide to do your test, just ensure you finish it before the end of the week.
Just a quick question. How do I access the Teams channel?
You can access it.
No. I know that you did some addition last week.
And even
I
up
gave
to
you
now,
my
you can
email
access
address.
it.
If I can just get the way to, I don't think I know how to.
So how did you join the call? You just selected the link, or you click on the link, I mean?
Yeah, I just clicked on the link via the email.
Okay.
And joined using the web.
Okay. But when you click that, did you get the invite at all?
Sorry, I got the invite via the. Okay, an invite to join. No. I just used the invitation link.
Did you check your mail? Because there will be an invite for you to join.
Let me check. I'll check now.
So that's the reason if you did not get the invite, that's why I'm posting the same question in the Discord channel. That's why I'm using that. So Adeyemi, you can do it later. Just ensure that you submit it before end of next week. Mm?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So I hope the information was not Matt. Yes, you have your hands up. I know the information was too much for you today. I know, and we like I used to say, this class is from 10 o'clock to a normal day. It's supposed to be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then we're having it just for 2 hours. So 10. So I'm only trying to make sure as much as possible that we get enough, because we only have 2 hours in a day. Please go ahead. Martha, yes, you have your hands up, but you are still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, I just joined this class like 5 minutes ago. I just
Oh,
went through my email, so I saw the class, so I said, okay, let me quickly join. And I've not been participating in the classes. So I
no
was like,
problem.
I was like,
No problem.
I
We
wanted to
have.
like,
Go ahead,
if
my
there's,
dear. Let me
yeah,
allow you to finish.
okay. I wanted to ask if there's a channel where you pass your information apart from the Gmail net platform. If
Apart
there's
from the
like a
Discord.
class, yeah, apart from this thing, the Gmail. If you are on
No,
Slack
Gmail.
or
We don't use Gmail. Oh.
yeah,
We don't
because it
use.
was Gmail I got this one. It was from Gmail I got this one.
Yes. Yeah, okay, but you've been able to join, right? You'll be able to join the channel. Can you see this? Let me ask you, can you when you join and you log in into the Teams, were you able to see our channel? Can you see this channel? When you log in, were you able to see activity chat, Teams, and then you see cohort 4? So you have to collapse cohort 4 and then go to modern workplace. Are you able to see it?
From the Teams. No, this one is from my website. I'm just checking. Wait,
Even from your website, you should be able to see.
Oh, okay. Let me check.
So you will see Teams, you will see Teams, you will see because all the files, all the recording, this is where we post it. As at last week, the recordings are all here. So the recordings for this week also will be posted here for you.
All right, ma'am.
So, but ensure that you chat on the Teams channel if you do not, or you come to Discord and chat. Do you have the Discord? Are you part of the Discord group?
Like I said before, I'm just new. I just saw the email, so
Oh,
it just brought
sugar.
me right to the class. I didn't know there was class.
Oh,
Just
okay.
check.
No problem. It's no problem. You can always catch up. It's not an issue. So what you will do is this. I'm going to paste. Can you see the chat window? Huh? Martha, can
Yes,
you
ma'am.
see the chat window?
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
can paste the Discord link for you to be able to join.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Irene. You have your hand.
Yeah, so yes, I didn't get the invitation, the actual Teams invitation. I just have that normal registration, the link for this meeting.
Are you sure? Okay. Because even the people I just sent to, they said they've had. So there's something wrong. I'm coming. Let me first send Irene, Martha. Martha, check the chat window. That's the link for you to join the Discord channel. Once you join the Discord, let me show you again. Let me share my space with you. Once you join the Discord channel, this is what you're going to see. Irene, I'll come back to you, please. This is what you're going to see. You will see text stylers. Then you can come down. You will see Microsoft 365 learning tracks, other learning tracks. You will see Microsoft 365. So this is where we share all of the information that you need.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll check it out.
Oh,
Hello?
sure. Yes.
Yes,
I
I'll check it
think
out.
no problem. Yeah, I just noticed that there's something wrong with the mail I sent for Modern Workplace. Where's the post? Where did I do the announcements? Modern Workplace. Let me do the announcements. Yeah. That's what I noticed. I left out AF. Okay, so I think that's about all. Irene, your case is a very special one. I don't know. I'm going to check again, Irene, whether you are a member of this, because when I checked the last time, you told me you're a member. So that's why I've been having difficulty coming to say. So I think we can, let me stop the recording so that I don't delay any other person